Hello everyone, welcome to Vishnu IAS Academy. Today is Monday, so for us it's a geography day. So let's begin with our Legipep series related to geography. So coming to the first one, let's see, we'll be discussing the 7 contents. Out of that, first thing would be Forest Rights Act 2006. So why it is in news? Because if you see, tribal representatives in Andaman Nicobar Islands have completed that administration gave a report claiming that tribal rights which are given under Forest Rights Act were identified unsettled, but they are not. That's what they claiming is. So if you see that, let's see about the background of this Forest Act. So if you see the Forest Act, about that act, all the scheduled tribes and other additional tribe dwellers are also covered in this Forest Act. And the ministry attached with this Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and aim is to correct the historical injustice that are happening to all the tribal communities, especially regarding the minorities, because we know the minorities are nothing but all STs and other group of sectors which are not major in the number. So for this purpose, we have launched this act in 2006, that act. And if you see some key facts in respect to this act, if you observe, rights recognized under this act are title rights. So ownership will be given to all those tribals who are cultivating to land up to 4 hectares. This should be remembered. And use rights. What are user rights? Minor forest produce. What are minor forest produce? Which belongs to the tribal areas. Fodders or whatever the bamboo, or those are the fruits which are less in number, or the fuel, these comes under the minor forest produce, and they can use the land for grazing also. That's what. And relief and development rights. What are this? All the protection rights like rehabilitation, everything will be given under this act. And community rights to protect, manage and regenerate all the forest products, again under this act. And Grama Sabha role. So here Grama Sabha has given a major important role. What it says, it verifies, approves and claims all the decision of the higher committees. And empowerment. Now forest dwellers can manage their own resources. And that's what some of the rights recognized under this act. And if you come to the next thing, these are certain aspects you have to look upon this act, because now they are saying, and whenever something is related to tribes in news, you have to concentrate upon it. That's why Forest Act 2006 is the thing you have to concentrate. And I have asked a main question regarding this. So Forest Acts 2006, historical injustices, etc. So I have mentioned all the things, you can go through it. In the similar way, if you come to the conclusion part, I have given a quote of Mahatma Gandhi, where he says, the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. This is a very important quotation you have to remember. And coming to the next one, wildfires. As we know, now whole across the world, be it in Australia, be it in USA, be it India, we are facing wildfires. That's why studying and learning about this wildfire is very important aspect. So recently, if you see in this part where you can see Albania, Greece, Turkey, this area of the Mediterranean Sea, in the Albania, Greece and Portugal, Spain and Turkey, Spain, Portugal, this area also, this all have caused deaths and large scale evacuation due to the wildfires. It's a world thing. So that's why, and if you see in India also, even in the parts of Andhra Pradesh also, we can see these wildfires. So what are these wildfires? That definition is again important. Uncontrolled fires in a forest, grasslands or tundra fueled by vegetation and oxygen and heat. If let's say there is a place which has grassland, forest, everything, and suddenly it has fueled with a lot of heat, due to which it has attacked with a fire. That fire is nothing but a wildfire. So let's see the type of the wildfires. Surface fire, underground or zombie fire, if you see about surface fire, they are nothing but just burning leaves and stopping. And a zombie, the term itself says it's a huge, so burns organic matter below the ground and persists for months together. That is zombie fire. And canopy or crown fire, as we know, canopy is nothing but the upper part of the tree cover. That's why if you see upper canopy and intense, and the thing here is hard to control, but it is controllable. And one more, control fire, plant burns by forest agencies. Why? In order to find some important or the persons like terrorists or the Naxalite which are under the forest cover, in order to find them, forest agencies, and to evacuate them also, there is a chance of keeping that forest fire by agencies itself. So to reduce fire and support ecosystems health. This is control fire, this is plant fire. So we can see 4 types of fire, and if in particular if you see the causes, what will be the causes? First one, geography or climate, because of the dry and hot weathers, and climate change because of the heat and unseasonal rainfall, and La Nina or El Nina also causes this wildfire, especially El Nina, where we can see the shortage of rainfall. This may lead to the existence of or coming of this wildfires. Human activities, slash and burn, as we see. Whenever someone to do the agriculture in that area, they'll do the agriculture activity, all the residues they'll burn there and they'll shift to the other place. That's what slash and burn. And tourism, infrastructure, and waste management. If you see, we know that through the waste, where from the garbages we will get the methane emissions. If that attack with the fire, we can cause the wildfire even in the urban areas as well. That's what. And weak fire management and outdoor system and poor management and biodiversity loss. Bamboo and other monoculture crops, they act as a fuel. Because of that, wildfires may attack. And deforestation and habitat fragmentation, due to the over mining or a grazing, it may happen. These are the certain causes. And if you see the impacts, so whenever you are writing impacts, you have to think in all the perspectives: social, economical, political, everything. So in that way, air pollution, climate change, as we know, carbon dioxide and particulate matter 2.5 and methane, and the release of those pollutants, and biodiversity loss, especially in the wildlife. If you see, lot of all the animals, flora, fauna will be there in that forest areas, so loss of that biodiversity. And if you observe, in Brazil in 2020, 17 million animals are killed due to wildfires. And in the human health, and as you see, because of the release of pollutants, our respiratory system may impact. And economic damage, as I said, property, agriculture, firefighting, everything, and soil and water erosion and polluted water resources are the causes. And if you observe, in particularly about the wildfires in India, 36% of forests are prone to wildfires according to India's Forest Report 2021. And in the similar manner, mountain states, if you observe, Himachal Pradesh, there is a surge of 1339% of wildfires. In the similar manner, Jammu and Kashmir, 2822, and then Uttarakhand, 293%. If you see, there is a more surge in Jammu and Kashmir. Next, Himachal, and next would be Uttarakhand. Though they are mountain states with a lot of snow cover, still they are experiencing wildfires. And control methods, there are 2 important control methods if you see. One is pink fire retardant, so chemicals will be sprayed in order to suppress those fires, and other would be Bambi bucket, in which through the help of helicopters they'll pour the buckets of water on that area. That is a Bambi bucket. So these are the steps, like community participation, usage of technology, advancing technology, policy and planning, and those are the steps we have to take. And this is the question regarding, you can once go through it, and these are the impacts and mitigation and management I have given. And if you observe, I have given a quotation: in every walk with the nature, one receives far more than he seeks. This was a very beautiful quotation. What it says: if you use forest as a resources for food of animals, it's okay. But if you start overgrazing it, then it leads to wildfires. So it's a beautiful quotation given by John Moore, and it says overgrazing may lead to the loss of biodiversity in the manner of wildfires. So coming to the next one, India's first sustainable aviation fuel. So if you see, India's first sustainable aviation fuel plant has been set up in Indian Oil Corporation with the help of in the Panipat refinery after ISSC CORSIA certification. This has to be given. It's an organization like FSSAI, where it gives the certification for aviation fuel. So our first SAF plant has set up in the Panipat refinery. Who deals with it? Indian Oil Corporation. That's what in news. And if you see what is SAF, it's a biofuel similar to the present aviation fuel but with the organic manner. So can be used in existing aircraft without modification. So without modification, especially by using the wastage of the fuel which we are using in the households. Let's say if you are using for a cooking oil, that cooking oil wastage can now be used as for this SAF, and it can be used as a fuel in a drop wise also, that is drop in fuel. And these are the possible feedstocks through which we can get this SAF: oil and fats, waste and alcohol to jet pathway by using this butylol and ethanol. In the same way, SAF, what it is used? In order to reduce the pollution, especially greenhouse gas emissions up to 80%, and contributes to 60% plus aviation decarbonization and boosts energy security and jobs as well. But there will be some challenges, because in order to get this SAF, the refinery process and the end products and the products which are used for that fuel also will be costlier. That's why high cost infrastructure gaps and seasonal scattered feedstock collection are the challenges associated with. And ISC CORSIA certification, if you see this is a carbon offsetting and reduction certification given for all the international and flights. So after 2027, even we are following the same thing, and we are doing all these things. Why? Because our target to be a carbon neutral country by 2070. So if you see here, whenever we are doing all these things, our aim is to save our society, to be a sustainable nature. So before proceeding, if you like our initiative, please subscribe to Vishnu IAS Academy. And coming to the mains question, here I have given a mains question regarding the sustainable aviation fuel, and I have given all the things like benefits, etc. And in the quotation, I have given a quotation of Elon Musk. The first step is to establish that something is possible. If you see something will happen, then surely if you start doing it, it will happen. That's what it says. And next would be Mines and Mineration Development and Regulation Amendment Bill. Why this is in news? Because critical minerals are the important for us, because whenever you are using for a nuclear technology or for using semiconductors, and recently you know that in the past week you have seen 4 mineral or 4 semiconductor places have been established. So for that we need these critical minerals, but now we are more importing these minerals. That's why we have to amend our bill or Minerals Act accordingly in order to get better profits or better income, in order to grow our GDP in a better manner. So if you see critical mineral push, so all these critical management minerals lease without extra royalty. And if you see the institutional reforms, governments can establish minerals exchange, and the name of the National Mineral Exploration Trust has now been named as National Mineral Exploration and Development Trust, with the royalty has now to 3% for exploration and mine development. And if you see, these are the certain critical minerals we can see in the list: lithium, cobalt, nickel, vanadium, germanium, rhenium, etc. And major imported sources, especially in India according to 2020. That's why you are importing a lot. That's why in order to decrease that import we are doing this. And as you see, critical minerals, they are essential for economic growth, national security, and especially if you see lithium and nickel, we are dependent 100% on lithium. Let me know in the comment section from which 3 countries we are importing a lithium. I'll give a clue. They are South American countries. And nickel 93% and copper. So India identified 30 critical minerals, as I said, and in the same way we have launched this National Critical Mineral Mission in 2025. So these are the reforms in the National Critical Mission. So this is the question regarding the mines and minerals development. I have given an introduction and conclusion. So please write this full answer and send us to our Vishnu IAS mail ID. So next would be India's largest floating solar power project. So where it is in Omkareshwar in Madhya Pradesh. If you observe again, this in order to achieve 2070 target of achieving carbon neutrality. And you can see this whole thing. And next would be Lipu Lake Pass. Where is this Lipu Lake? Lipu Lake will be in the border. If you see here, Lipu Lake, Kalapani, everything. It is in Uttarakhand and it's a gateway. And if you observe, Lipu Lake in 1992 and Himachal Pradesh in 1994 are the now historically traced posts. And these are the certain other passes. If you remember, Khadlunga, this is a higher motorable pass, and here Mana Pass and Lipu Lake we can see in this part. And you can see one more pass, Rohtang Pass in the Himachal Pradesh region, where we can have the connection between the Manali as well. And I have given in a tabular form about all the passes and the places. This is very important for you, both for prelims and the mains. And our next one would be Kalai 2 hydroelectric project. This is very important because it is located in the Arunachal Pradesh. And with the help of NTPC, we are doing all these things. It's a 1200 megapower project. So let's come to this is about the other hydroelectric projects in India. In particular, you can see Subnasri. I have given all the project with the rivers and the states. Let's see now some prelims model questions based on the above discussed topics. So this is the first question on floating solar power project, and the second question on Lipu Lake, and the third question on Kalai hydroelectricity project in Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the 3 questions I have given. So please go through it, and I have given answers with the explanation. So that's it for today. If you like our initiative, please like, share, subscribe, comment our Vishnu IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.